Hello Carrie, welcome back. This will be a short video on the functioning of the voltmeter of the 162C. And I'm sorry about the lighting here. I've got an overhead fluorescent ceiling light behind me, and that's why the top of the meter is shaded. But I think we'll be able to get in here so that you can see. It's my setup here. I've just got a small bench supply. This will only give me 30 volts max, but we can look at the results on all ranges. And I've got as I said, I've got my bench meter here just so we can kind of see what the voltage actually is. And I have found that the meter here and the meter on the power supply actually correlate quite well, so we may just stick to this one. You'll see that the upper ranges are quite a ways out of calibration, and I'm not sure just how that is accomplished, but I also keep in mind that these carbon resistors in this thing are I think this might have been boxed up in 1942, maybe 1945, so those resistors are way past their age, so I'm sure they've changed in value, but you know all about that, and you'll have some fun taking care of that, I'm sure. So, got my power supply here, leads coming down. Like I said, it's all cobbled in with this old defunct meter, but we are active. Now this is a zero center meter, and so I've got it hooked up in the negative direction right now, so the positive and the negative are reversed from the power supply. But as I start to bring this up, you'll see the needle deflecting down in the negative direction, and I'm on the 25 volt range. Let me go down to 5. I'll show you all ranges. So right now the meter is at almost 5 volts, and the power supply is almost 5 volts, and we're reading just shy of 5 on the meter here. So let me bring it up to actually 5 volts. So we're at 5 volts here. We're very close to 5 volts on the fluke, and we're pretty much right on the meter on the 162. So nice correlation here. And I'll bring it down to, we'll come down to say 2.5 volts, about there. And so we're right almost halfway on the scale there. Okay, so let's go up to the 25 volt range. And I should mention too that because of the flakiness on the meter here, I wasn't exactly zeroed, so I was a few volts negative of 0 to start with, but you'll be able to just see the function of this. So now I'll bring the voltage up. Let's go up to let's just take it, we're at 20 volts. We'll start at 20. So 20 volts there, and we'll come down. And now you're going to see now as we go up in the range on the voltmeter, on the test instrument, our linearity gets pretty bad. So I've got almost, I got right at 20 volts being fed into the 162C, and it's showing less than 15 volts. But the deflection is correct, which is good news. I'll bring on it up to 30 volts on the power supply, and we're still not quite at 25. So there'll be a little bit of work involved there, but I would start with just testing all those resistors. Okay, so that's the negative voltmeter. So let me. By the way, I've got the instrument in the standby mode, which is nice because now all of the tubes are not lit. I think what standby does is it just keeps the heater voltage on all the tubes, but everything else is turned off, which is a nice feature. Okay, let me set the camera down here, and I'll switch these around, and we'll look at the positive side of the meter deflection. And while I'm doing this, let me mention that this is the first time I've ever done a video with voice, and so please bear with all the ums, the ahs, the clearing of the throat, everything else that we do all the time but never really think about it. So if I did this for a living, it would be a much better video. Okay, so there's positive there. negative here once I get it hooked up. And we'll get back to it. Okay, so we are switched around on our leads. I've got the supply turned off, so let's turn it back on, make sure it's going the right direction. And it is. Okay, as I bring the voltage up, you can see the meter coming up. So I'm up to about 5 volts here. Let me go back down to the 5 volt range. And that pegged the meter a little bit because it just began, because it did start out at 0. So we're right at about 4.5 volts here, and we're about full scale on the instrument meter. Go back to the 25 volt range. Come up to 30. So we're right at 30 or so here. The fluke says 31, and this instrument says that we're at about 19 volts. So you can see that it's not linear, that it is off, but it is functioning. That's good news, I think. Let's see. So I think that's all I wanted to cover on this one. I will have the next one we'll do, and I'll do that here in just a minute. We'll look at the watt meter, and we'll get a video on that, and then I'll get these posted and I'll send you an email, let you know that at least you can take a look at these first 3 videos. So there it is. I'm pretty excited about this. I think this unit's going to be working very nicely, and it's actually been a lot of fun to play with. So we'll see you in a bit. Thanks, Gary.